Okay, the last video I'm going to do tonight is on Zen meditation. Now, I could actually talk for several hours on this subject, and I have in the past. When you're giving an enlightenment intensive, you have to describe how to do this very thoroughly for people. And that is where I have the most experience with doing Zen-type meditation. The koan that we're going to use in this particular meditation is one of four. I'll give you four possibilities. Who am I? What am I? What is life? And what is another? Another is anything other than you. That's the definition. So, most people I've found today have a fair experience and knowledge of themselves, of who they are. At least the type of person that would watch a video like this. Back, what was that? Maybe 40 years ago when I started taking enlightenment intensives, nobody really knew who they were. They didn't have that level of enlightenment. It was really interesting to watch over the decades to see how people just know who they are. I mean, I started discovering this when I was teaching yoga classes, and people would come up and ask me questions, and we'd talk about meditation. I'd say, well, tell me who you are. And they would actually have that experience. It would be there. It was a real satori. That's a Zen word for it, a kincho. There's several words for it. In yoga, it's samadhi. It's a samadhi experience when you have an enlightenment experience. And that experience is, what enlightenment is a union between yourself and what you're contemplating, whatever that is that you're contemplating. And so when you're contemplating yourself, it's the self experiencing the self. It sounds really simple, and it is. It's so simple, it befuddles the mind. And so that's the power of contemplating who am I, or what am I. Now, there's only one level of who am I experience, but there's several levels of what am I. So if you think you know who you are, you can start with what am I, with what experience, contemplating what am I. And basically the technique is you focus on what, using this as the koan, and you can apply this with life and other or who, is you focus on what you most appear to be now in this moment. So like right now, what I most experience myself as being is someone who's talking. So I notice myself talking and I contemplate, okay, what is that that's talking? What is that that's speaking? And for me, as I do this, I get this surreal kind of sense of, well, I'm speaking, but it's happening over there. I'm here and this is speaking is happening over there. So whatever, this is my immediate experience in the moment of talking about this. So I can be contemplating, okay, well, who am I or what am I that's making these sounds, that's having these thoughts that are coming from this brain and coming out of this mouth and seeming like it's something separate, it's over here but yet it's right here, it's immediate, I'm right here, I'm here, so you see, it's just constantly going back to who am I, what am I that's having this experience. And we won't go into the other two possibilities right now. It's just confused matters, I'm afraid. Who and what are very close, very similar. And so we can talk about them together in this way without too much confusion, I hope. But then if you are feeling confused, that's the first level of samadhi, is confusion. Because you notice that there's this separation, there's this something else, there's something separate, there's something that's not here, that's not immediate, that's not in the moment. And that confusion, that's part of the process. So you just constantly keep going back. Okay, so what am I now? What am I experiencing myself as now in this immediate moment? So I've contemplated, I've had this thought, and I've gone back and contemplated again. So now it's like, okay, well, what am I that's making this motion? What am I that's moving this hand? What is this movement happening? It's like, sure, I'm making this movement, but am I? Am I really? So you see, it's just this constant inquisitiveness, this constant questioning of self in this moment. What is the most apparent you in the moment? And what is that? So it's this constant going back in and experiencing. Now, as you go along, this is going to get deep. The things I talked about are fairly superficial. They may or may not be to you. A more superficial one is who I am is this thought of I'm uncomfortable. You know, am I sitting here? I've been sitting for a long time. My back's uncomfortable. So, you know, that's even more close. It's very close to home. It's very true, but it may be a little more mundane, depending on your perspective. It could be very, very deep. So each experience can be incredibly deep, or it can be very superficial. It just depends on where you are, what your experience is in the moment. I've probably gone a little bit too far in this. I've probably said a little too much. It is the process of Zen to confuse the mind, and I could keep going. I could talk for an hour or more without any problem at all, and you would be completely confused and well on your way to having an enlightenment experience. Because as I've said, that's part of the process. So the basics, just to go over the basic of this Zen type contemplation again, go in, take a moment, experience your most immediate experience of self now, and then contemplate, what is that? What is that me? What is that is that experience that I was having? Notice whatever thoughts come up. If you are an enlightenment intensive, you would speak that thought out, and it would be received by a partner. You work in partners in an EI. And so the partner receives it, and then you go back and contemplate. But you can receive it again. You're just yourself. You can receive it by just noticing that that's there, and then go back in and contemplate again. So it's just this constant going in, your most immediate experience of self. Who am I? What am I that is that experience, or that has that experience, or that feels that experience, or however it is for you. Notice the thoughts that come up. Just notice them, let them go, and go back and contemplate again. Start right at that beginning place. What's my most immediate experience of self now? Okay, so that's a really good one, and have a good time with that one. Let me know how that works for you. I'd love to hear, either in the comments or send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, thanks. Have a great night.